Hello everyone. In our previous videos, we walked through the extensive library of built-in tools and apps provided by GoInsight.ai. These are designed to significantly streamline your workflow construction process. However, if the out-of-the-box tools and apps don't quite meet your specific needs, you can leverage HTTP request nodes and code nodes to implement your own custom business logic. For enterprise builders, you can take reusable business logic and encapsulate it into a custom tool. This makes it convenient for other team members to share and use, boosting overall collaboration efficiency. Let's use the creation of a cloud-side tool as an example to walk you through the entire process in GoInsight.ai. First, head over to the Services and Tools page within Insight Flow. If this is your first time creating a custom tool, you'll need to create a category to organize them. For instance, I've already set up categories like Gmail tools, HubSpot tools, and test tools to keep things organized. Next, click the Create button to start a new cloud-side tool. Here, we'll select our Test Tools category. Then click Create to enter the orchestration page, where we can start building the tool's core flow. The build process is quite similar to creating a standard workflow. Just like before, you can add various nodes, tools, apps, and so on. However, the Start node in a custom tool differs significantly from a workflow's Start node. The custom tool's Start node provides system variables like UTC date, UTC time, workflow ID, batch ID, and browser language. These are ready for immediate use in downstream steps. In the Start node's authorization method, you can decide whether to enable authentication for the tool. If authentication is required, you can choose to add a single credential type or a group of credential types. If you select a single credential type, the tool will only authenticate using that specific configuration during execution. If you use a group, it supports authentication via any of the configured credential types. Let's take a HubSpot integration as an example. If you set the credential type to single and choose HubSpot OAuth2 API, and we do a test run, you'll notice that future usage is restricted strictly to the HubSpot OAuth2 API credential. However, if you set it to a group, adding two different HubSpot credential types here, for example, then you can authenticate using any of the multiple types you've configured. This gives other users flexibility to choose the appropriate credential type when they use the tool later. Once you've orchestrated the tool and the test results meet your requirements, you can proceed to publish it. After publishing, you can call the tool directly within workflows or invoke it via an agent. Next, let's walk through a practical use case to demonstrate creating and calling a custom tool. This example involves a tool with credential validation based on a rapid API endpoint that converts HTML to PDF. It functions by taking input text and generating a PDF file. Since this API uses an API key, we've pre-created a custom API key access token credential type and a corresponding credential. Then, in the Start node, we add this credential type to complete the authentication configuration. We then insert the API key field from the credential into the HTTP request for API validation. Since the API requires HTML input, we added a code node. This converts the input text into HTML format before passing it to the API. Finally, we extract the converted PDF link from the API response and set it as the tool's output variable. Now, let's test run this tool. We select our pre-configured PDF Shift API key and enter some text. As you can see, the tool ran successfully and returned a valid PDF access link. With the results confirmed, we are ready to officially publish this tool. Let's click the Publish Tool button. During publishing, you need to fill in the display name, documentation URL, if available, and internal tool name, the description, usage examples, and definitions for input and output variables. I want to emphasize that filling this out carefully is crucial. This ensures other team members and agent nodes can quickly understand how and when to use the tool. For example, regarding input variables, clearly specify the required format and content. The same goes for output variables. Define the format and the nature of the data returned. Of course, permissions are also vital. You can configure the scope of access for this tool here. After that, click Publish Tool. Once published, we can find our new tool in the Custom Tools list within the Workflow Editor. Let's do a test run. It executed successfully and returned the accessible PDF link. Beyond adding the custom tool directly to the workflow canvas, you can also invoke it via an agent node. Here, we select the tool's credential type. Let's test run this workflow. You can see the agent went through its thinking process, called our custom tool, and returned the PDF link. Besides tools requiring credentials, you can also create lightweight custom tools that don't need authentication. Take this text-to-base64 encoder, for instance. It uses just a code node to convert input text into base64 format. This is highly useful in API integration scenarios. For example, with HTTP Basic Auth, you often need to convert a concatenated username and password string into base64. This must then be placed in the HTTP requests authorization header to verify identity. Let's insert this custom tool into the workflow and check the results. As you can see, it successfully converted my username password string into base64 format. Once published, any authorized team member can call this tool directly without rewriting the code logic. This drastically improves efficiency during API integrations. That covers the full lifecycle of creating, testing, publishing, and calling custom tools. With custom tools, builders can encapsulate high-frequency business logic for team sharing and one-click execution. This eliminates repetitive development, truly realizing efficiency through reuse, and easily meeting diverse enterprise automation needs. That's all for this episode. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.